I just want to say one thing for anybody out there who doesn't make a lot of money, but you're trying to make it on your own, or maybe you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever it is, and you guys are just starting out and you're just trying to figure something out, right? Um, the advice that I have for you is that you need to figure out how to live as cheaply as humanly possible without sacrificing too much. But you need to be open to different ideas. You know, when I got out on my own, I kind of figured that like apartments were really all I could do. You know, there's no way I was going to afford a house at 450 grand for a 2-bedroom piece of shit in Tacoma, you know, or whatever. And so I just figured, I just kind of resigned myself to the apartment life, right? And then I picked up a job where I started building tiny homes. And then I was like, fuck, man. I was like, as I was building these tiny homes, I was like, I could live in one of these. I could absolutely live in one of these. Like, this is nice. It's not, you know, way less room to, you know, way less cleaning, way less upkeep. It's actually mine. Now, granted, it's a house on wheels, but, you know, say if I had a little bit of property, maybe get a little bit older, and I could buy a little property in Colorado, I could buy a little property up here in Washington, I could just move my house back and forth. And then I've got a house on both properties year round, you know? So, I mean, that kind of makes it, yeah, I like that. Well, can't afford a home, fucking tiny home either, but I could afford an RV. And so I went and bought an RV. It's a 32 by 8 little travel trailer, and it's not very much, but it's got all the same stuff an apartment does. It just doesn't have a laundry machine. But I mean, you know, you can go to a laundromat, or if I had a better RV, I'd have a washer and dryer. Anyway, the point is, I have all the same shit that I have in an apartment, except for I only have one neighbor over here who's really cool, and I have one neighbor over here who never leaves his house. And I've got a tight-knit community. I know a lot of the people around here. We all kind of look after each other, and everything's real cool. And there's little donation boxes and neighborhood book bins and whatever else. Like, it's a really cool little spot. And I'm a lot happier here than I have been at any apartment ever, because I fucking hate apartment living. It's the worst. So I'm just saying, like, if you're one of those couples that's kind of new and you're trying to start out and don't make a lot of money and you're not really sure what to do, like, if you can figure out how to get the startup money to get yourself in an RV, and do your research, because these things are not built very well. Depending on which ones you get, they're not built very well. And you should expect to be a little handy. You're going to have to fix a couple things by yourself. But what it does is it kind of gives you a little pride, you know, a little bit of, like, because, you know, if an apartment, if something breaks, you just call a guy and he comes and fixes it, and you don't have to lift a finger, you know, and here you do. And so it gives you a little bit of sense of self and sense of purpose, and it's something that's yours. And it may not be a huge house, but it's still yours.